Everyone, welcome. I'm Anne. I'm an integrative wellness practitioner, and I'm here today to talk to you about some basic concepts in homeopathy for anybody who's new to that topic and wants to learn more. I started studying homeopathy about 2 years ago on a quest to help to alleviate some problematic symptoms that I was experiencing with one of my children who was diagnosed with autism. I was dealing with a lot of behavioral regression and meltdowns, and we were also dealing with mold exposure, having lived in two different houses with major mold and air quality issues for about a year. And our bodies were kind of in a state of toxic overload for that and multiple other reasons. It became a really transformative journey for me, myself, with my own physical and mental health. And I just wanted to learn everything I could about it. I started with Bach flower essences, which are really amazing form of energy medicine aimed at treating different emotional states that may be the root cause to difficult physical illnesses. Now I'm really delving deep into cell or tissue salts, which are different minerals found within the Earth's crust that when we achieve a perfect balance of these minerals within our body, then we achieve perfect health, quote unquote perfect. Specifically today, I want to address the question of water dosing. So in homeopathy, we usually deliver remedies or cell salts in two different ways. This is a cell salt, silica. It's a great detoxifier. And so it's just little sugar pellets that are infused with the energetic frequency of silica. You can see those. There's no actual silica in here. If you were to break it down and study it, the physical form of silica is not present. It's the energetic frequency, and that may be difficult to understand at first. So my background is in Reiki and energy healing, and over the past few years, I've spent an extended period of time in vortices in Sedona and where I live now in the Catskill Mountains of New York, where as you become more and more sensitive to energy, if you're living like a chaotic, fast-paced lifestyle or you're in a busy city, you often like put up a shield and a barrier where you don't feel a lot. But as you open to different practices like yoga or meditation, homeopathy, as you spend more time in nature, you are going to become more sensitive to energetic frequencies, and eventually you may be able to feel the different like vibrations and like very subtle feelings that different places, people, substances put off. So it's not like a supplement or a prescription where if you take 2 pills, you're getting a double dose. 3 pills is a triple dose. It's not like that. Homeopathy is aimed at treating these different frequencies and vibrations within our body. So if you're living in a state of chronic illness or chronic depression, you could go to like a neurologist or a specialized type of doctor who could put electrodes on your body, and they can actually measure the frequency or the vibrations that are coming off of your body. You would be vibrating at a much lower frequency than somebody who is living a happier life where they're finding joy in every day, in most of the moments throughout their day, and they're very tuned in to the present moment. They would be vibrating at a higher frequency overall. And we can do that same thing with all of the organs of your body. If your liver is overburdened with toxins, then it's not going to be functioning optimally. It's going to be giving off a low frequency. If you're carrying a lot of grief or sadness, your heart is going to be vibrating at a lower frequency. So that doesn't necessarily mean like there's going to be anything wrong physically with the heart. It may be beating normally, functioning normally, but if you continue to carry that grief and sadness, eventually you may develop heart problems, heart palpitation, heart murmur, heart disease, because we believe in homeopathy that every physical condition has an emotional root to it. So I love cell salts because they are one of the gentlest, most subtle ways to support your physical body and also to support emotional healing. You may be carrying emotions and beliefs from your childhood and your subconscious mind that you are completely unaware of. And that may sound crazy because you may think like if something is still affecting you into adulthood from your childhood, you would definitely remember it. But that's not the case at all. We can experience like these little traumas as children where we don't feel supported or loved by our parents. We feel like a bad child or we did something wrong. And it is traumatic to a child, and we internalize it and store it in our subconscious mind. 90% of your brain is your subconscious mind. So it's ideas, beliefs, and thought patterns that you're not aware of. And since it's such a big part of your brain, is actually what's like running the show beneath the surface. So cell salts not only support the physical body in healing, but they also support the emotional body in bringing these emotions to the surface so that you can release them. So I'm going to show you how to water dose 2 of these cell salts. So in homeopathy, I showed you the little sugar pellets. You can take those directly, and it's a very intuitive process. You may take 1, you may take 3. Recommended dosing on cell salts is usually 4 to 5. Sometimes I just see how many fall into the cap. You can muscle test if you're familiar with that. So it really doesn't make a big difference whether you're using 1 or 5, because again, it's an energetic frequency. So it's just meant to bring your body into a state of balance. Cell salts are generally recommended to be used for like 1 to 3 months. And usually when they have served their purpose, you will feel it and you'll feel like ready to give up the cell salt and like move on to another one, because something else will come to the surface. So the 2 that I have today are nat sulfur and silica. And these are both great for detoxification. Nat sulfur is really good for like supporting your liver and helping your body to release toxins. That when I think about just kind of like, bringing it all to the surface to get it out of your body. It's really good for detox, fluid retention, if you're dealing with like any type of bloating, swelling, digestive sluggishness, if you're feeling sensitive to damp weather. And it's really good to be used after an illness or after you take medication, whether that be like a Tylenol or an antibiotic. There is like an energetic imprint that is left by any type of like modern medicine that's not made and created from nature. And so the nat sulfur just helps to like neutralize that frequency so that it's not hurting your body and it's not affecting your liver. If you're feeling like sluggish or overburdened, nat sulfur is great for that. And then silica is actually known as the homeopathic surgeon. It goes in and it locates whatever is in your body that's like holding you back or causing illness. And where like the nat sulfur is like about all about like elimination and getting it out. The silica also supports the elimination and release, but it helps to replace those frequencies with like resilience and vitality and life force. Silica is more so associated with the connective tissue, hair, skin, and nails. So if you notice like your hair is falling out or you're having any type of skin issues like acne or eczema, psoriasis, silica will help support the body in healing from those. It's good for slow wound healing or abscesses, poor assimilation of nutrients. So again, those of you who are working with a child with autism and a damaged gut lining, this will help to repair all of that so that they're actually able to assimilate the vitamins and nutrients in their food and any supplements that they may be taking. And so this one, silica, is good for like emotional fragility. If you're just feeling like you just like really can't take anymore, it's going to help to revitalize you and just bring like that life force energy back into your body. And it also helps with boundaries if you're in any type of challenging relationships in terms of like friendships, family, romantic partner, where you feel like your boundaries are not respected or you're afraid to put up boundaries. It helps to give you that strength. So you could take them straight, but because they are recommended to be taken like 3 times a day for at least a month, it's oftentimes easier to water dose them. Also with children, water dosing can be a lot easier because you can put it into like a little, this is a 1 ounce medicine dropper bottle. You can just put it into like a water bottle or a cup of water that you're going to sip throughout the day, because again, it's not like diluting a supplement where you're not getting its full strength. The water is going to take on the frequency of these pellets. So whether you put 1 or 3 or 5, it doesn't matter. You're going to have like a liquid that holds the power of the nat sulfur and the silica, and it's going to do for your body what it would do if you're just taking those pellets. And it's also very gentle. Cell salts are they are very gentle. Most things in homeopathy are. There's not really any concern for like negative reactions. But oftentimes if you're like detoxing, you want to do that really, really slowly and gently, because if your detox pathways are not open, you can have like a detox reaction and get flu-like symptoms because the toxins are expelled from wherever they're being stored. But if you can't properly eliminate them from your body, then they just like recirculate. So it is a little bit of, figuring out like where the different pieces of the puzzle lie and finding them and trying them. But there's really like no danger to it. And I definitely, recommend you do it with the support of somebody who has been studying this and is familiar with it for a long time. But for me, this is, there's no fear that goes along with this. Like, I'm not afraid of trying something in homeopathy and like having a fear of how it's going to affect my body. Like, I just generally know it's going to be for it's in my best interest and my children's best interest to do it. So that's why you may want to water dose. And again, especially if you're dealing with like homeopathic detoxes, it's just a little bit gentler. Um, you can do it more often. You can take a couple of drops. You can take the full dropper full. It's whatever you feel called to do. So you would just, this is already filled with filtered water from the land where I live. And I usually like to do 3 to 5. The silica, I feel, is like a strong form of, it's like a stronger mineral. So I normally would do 3 to 5. So I have 5 here. That's kind of what's in the cap, and that's what I'm feeling called to use. And they go into the water. And then with the nut sulfur, again, this is just intuitive. I don't really muscle test. I know a lot of people do, and I think it's great, but I just kind of hear in my head what I need. And so there's 3 there, and they go into the water. And then, there's no right or wrong here, but I don't like to shake. I like to swirl or I like to tap. But I don't like to shake the bottle. To me, I feel like that brings in like a very chaotic frequency. Some people will tell you, and I do this with my flower essences, each time you're going to take a dose of this to just gently tap it to kind of like awaken the frequency. You can infuse it with prayers if you pray. You can infuse it with intentions, Reiki symbols, the Hebrew letters. Water holds our prayers. So, you can take the lid off and like speak into this, like, Great Spirit, Grandmother Water, like, please support my body in healing to its utmost potential. And then, each time you take it, your intention and the law of attraction is just like equally as strong as what's in here. So it may take the pellets a while to dissolve, especially if you're using cold water. It really doesn't matter. Once the pellets are in here and you tap it a couple of times or you swirl it a couple of times, the water has taken on the frequency. Like, almost think of like if you put like an electrical cord to this, the water would be electrified because it's a conduit. So it's taking on the frequency of the minerals and the salts that I put in here. So it's fine to take a couple of drops or a dropper full before it's fully dissolved, and then just swirl it throughout the day. Water dosing is even more subtle. So, you can do it like every hour, every 2 hours, because the core concept here is like, again, if you're carrying these negative emotions, your body and different organs are in different parts of your brain are like vibrating at a low frequency. So these minerals, because they're from the earth, are very high frequency. So the thought process is like very slowly over time, you raise your frequency up to what it would naturally be vibrating at before you were exposed to toxins or different experiences that you internalized. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and thank you for watching.